start off by just making an observation. Have you noticed the world seems a lot more angry and sad lately? I don't know if it's just that because people are so connected all around the world, things just seem worse than they are, or if they've always been that way and we're just more aware of it now. But I know one thing. Even on a small level, day to day, it does seem like things can get a little bit intense sometimes. People are angrier. I notice even whenever I used to go outside, people would always say thank you and please. They had really good manners. If you held the door open for somebody, they would thank you, and that's just kind of gone now. Things like that, they can really get to you, but I'll try my best to help you out and maybe give you some stuff to think about. And again, I'm no expert, but I'm just someone who's seen things and sort of has my own view on it. So on a personal level, you can let things in your past kind of make you jaded, which, honestly, even if you try, sometimes that's going to come through. What I've learned is that how you wake up and decide to go into a day is going to determine a lot of how the day is going to play out. I think I've mentioned this a bit in a video before, but if you wake up and you're already angry, if something happens, something goes left, that's going to exacerbate it and make you even angrier. It could wreck your day. But if you practice going into each day positive as things can be, even if it's just given the circumstances, right? Like, let's say you have a job. Maybe it's a job you don't like, but you have that job. If you compare that to people who don't have a job at all, you're fortunate. Do you know what I mean? And you can go all the way down, like the hierarchy of needs with that. But if you keep in mind the things going right for you every day, that can help you to stop the little things that want to come in and wreck your day from causing more damage than they would. Here's an example. You go to work, you've got a coworker who just always wants to get on your case. You could, just completely let him have it and then you're out of a job. Or you could over time learn to just completely tune it out to the point where you can make it kind of like a Zen thing. Like you go in there and you're just in your zone. Always point A to point B, almost robotic. If you're in a particularly toxic workplace, I would suggest keeping to yourself. If you're not, of course, make friends and stuff. But still, monitor what you say when you're at work. And above all else, just try to not be invisible, but try to be cordial with everybody. That's another way of environmental modification. This is kind of like your environment. You're modifying the little things within it in order to make the whole environment itself be more pleasant. And that's like a microcosm, right? Your work environment being more pleasant. Hey, that's almost like an echo chamber is a negative thing. That's almost like a positive zone. Like a inverted echo chamber. You go there, you're cheerful with everybody. Hey, maybe outside of work you wouldn't agree with people on everything, or maybe even be friends with them, but if you can take that time to just be cordial, not like where it's a fake thing, but where it becomes an actual real thing, you're there, you're happy to help you enjoy it. That'll make things so much better. And I know, if you have health anxiety or there's something looming that you're worried about, is another thing. You could let those things bother you. You could let them grow on you and remain in the back of your mind. But if you do that, you aren't really moving forward, because I wanted to tell you this. This is my kind of view of things. The past doesn't really exist in any tangible way, if that makes sense. It's just memories. You can't do anything there. But what you can do is you can plan for the future, and you can live in the present. But if you plan too much ahead for the future, then you're also not living, because you can't live in the past. And if you choose not to live in the present, you won't live at all. Do you get what I mean? For example, for many years, I wanted to have something to show my friends, to show, hey, I have value, right? Spent all my time trying to build up these things, and they never worked out. So what was I left with? Well, I wasn't living in the present. The past is gone. And while I was neglecting my present self, but still, living, I was just existing, I got in worse health, gained weight, wasn't taking care of myself. You lose yourself. Not to make an Eminem reference, but you lose yourself, and you're not really there. So it's like you're not living in any sense, because you can't live in the future because it hasn't happened yet. And you can't live in the past because there's no way to go back to it. I've actually heard people say that if time travel were able to be done, you'd only be able to go in the future. And I mean, I don't have a degree. I'm not, would that even be a theoretical physicist or something? I don't see how you could even go back in time at all. The only thing that makes sense is you could be in some sort of stasis, to me, and go forward. But try to hone as much of your energy, as much of your willpower into doing present day things every day. Focus on some small goal, maybe every single day, just to keep yourself there and present, because you can be present in body but not really present in mind. And if you have ADHD like I do, you definitely might know what I mean about not being present in mind. Try, like I said, give yourself a specific goal every day while trying to be optimistic. If you're familiar with that book, The Secret, I think I've mentioned it a few times. It talks about something called Law of Attraction. It was created by this Neville Goddard guy, I believe is his name. He would say that, if you set an intention and then work your way towards it, it'll come true. So you can set any intention you want and eventually reach your goals. Now, I mean, who am I to say you can't be an astronaut? I think if you want to be an astronaut and you have to get your grades up or something, it's a lofty goal, but I mean, if you're willing to do it, you could. But if you set an attainable goal, I believe that if you remain optimistic and present, as opposed to just setting a goal and then assuming you're going to reach it without any effort, you will start to feel happier. Now, I have to preface, I take SSRI's Lexapro, so maybe that's why I'm able to not be bogged down by the depression. I don't know if that'll work for you if you also suffered from depression, but once you can get rid of that roadblock of self-doubt and sadness or ruminating on things in the past, which again you can't change, you can start fixing things in the present, and you can start taking those steps towards your future goals. Rumination is definitely a negative thing. We can circle back. Echo chambers. So I suggest stepping back from stuff like Reddit or Twitter or any hugely political things where it's just everyone has the exact same opinion. try to actually just focus on individuals within your area or people who you can actually go out and talk to in person. I would focus on that because like 9 times out of 10, you're not going to meet someone who's extreme, like extremist or whatever, no matter which way you cut it, right? You'll just meet more normal people. And that's probably a good thing, because if you're just always hearing the whole echo chamber thing, then you know it's going to skew your opinions, and most of the time it seems like these things are designed to bring you down. Well, as I said, there is a solution. I would suggest disconnecting from that. Also, things like Facebook, things of that nature, they really don't do much. I mean, if you want to like talk to somebody and you're doing like entertainment work or something, but then again, you could just use an email for that, you know. I digress. I believe that it was, if you do something for like 2 or 3 weeks, it becomes a habit. It becomes automated, like, well, I won't say that because I don't want to take away from the ASMR. It's like a little trick. If you say it, then people they like realize. But if you are to do something long enough, you'll start to do it without thinking, and that's when a habit's formed. Now what I'm wondering is if you can mentally make your brain have that habit, even if it goes against how you used to be, which doesn't matter anyway. You can kind of terraform your brain's state into being more cheerful, more optimistic. You could change yourself for the better. And that's what I think really will get you out of a hole if you feel like you're trapped in one emotionally, or trapped in a hole of rumination, or that your life's just not going anywhere. Sometimes radical changes have to be made when it comes to that. And if you're someone who's always pessimistic, you may need those. And again, if you start going into places where it's all about politics and stuff like that, it's going to probably make you mad. And probably you'll feel like just giving up trying. I strongly suggest staying away from that. Because, I know I've said it several times in this video, but I have to stress it's important. It's like poison for happiness. When you go in these areas, when you see these reports of things like political, you're seeing the worst of people. No matter where you go, you're seeing the worst of people. And that is going to make you think of the worst. Going to make you angry, going to make you irritated. These things are going to follow you. Maybe the next day, the next day, the next day. You meet some guy in the street who flips you off or something, or you see a guy when you're driving your car or whatever who gives you like a little road rage moment where he swears at you. These things are going to build up into a giant like snowball of just anger and frustration. So you have to cut the cord. And I most definitely think we all know what that cord is. If there's any of my viewers who are older, who remember when like George Bush was president, people, do you agree with me that it seems like people were way less like extreme about just in general their opinions? I know that like there was the war on terror or whatever, and of course 9/11, which weirdly, even though I was like the age to remember it, I don't remember it at all. I remember the Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire more than that at all. Like I don't remember it happening. But it feels like aside from of course those things, and they were nothing to, you know, ignore, like they're serious, but it wasn't as extreme. Do you know? And maybe that's just coming from the standpoint of someone in North America. Horrible things happen all over. But the news back maybe, again, I'm rose-tinted glasses, but I feel like it wasn't as angry all the time. You could watch a TV show that would make fun of something you don't agree with, and you could still laugh at it. You could have friends who maybe didn't agree with you on certain things, and you could still be friends. But now, the division line is right there, and it's more, I guess, just in your face than ever. So in a way, while I don't know the personal struggles of people, I can understand why some people are angrier, but it doesn't make the world a nice place to be. If you try what I mentioned, going into things, just trying to be happier, I'm wondering if enough people did it, would there be a positive change, even if it's just a small section of your life? I really do think there would. I think there would be a positive change. And do try to keep that in mind. You cannot do anything of note with the past. It only exists as memories of things you type. You can't go back there. You can sit and be angry or depressed about it, or you can free yourself from it by just moving on. Being in the present. They say, I think it goes something like, the best day to start a change is today. Or, of course, Ankh ruined it. The best day to change is yesterday, but the second best day is today. So, why not make that change today? Who knows? Maybe you could be someone who you never thought in your wildest dreams, and that could be a reality for you. I suggest trying new things as well. I don't know, maybe make rap music or something. I don't know, something that interests you. Anything. Think of something that you've always found interesting, but never really tried. And why not give it a go? The worst case scenario is it sucks if it's like music or something, or I don't know, it just doesn't pan out. But hey, at least you tried. And as for me, I mean, I've tried a lot of stuff in the past, but I would say right now, you know, aside from some like health issues with like a lot of sweating and stuff, which I worry about, but again, I have to focus on day-to-day stuff. Aside from that, I'm pretty happy. I'm happy to have a audience here who comes around and watches these and listens to them, and it helps them sleep, and I hope that they get something positive from it. I'm happy for viewers like Marvin who become members of the channel and like the videos enough to like donate anything towards it. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the people who subscribe and come and check these out. I see there's a section of like regular viewers, and there's like 100 or so people in there who always come back, and that's really cool. And there's even people who click that bell, like 130 of them, and it's amazing to me that people like these little videos I make that much. But I feel the change in terms of happiness starts with you. So if you need to take some sort of SSRI for depression or something like that, maybe you have unmedicated ADHD or you think you have it, you could go get it tested out, see what they say. And then if you need, try medication. And then maybe after you've got that sort of ground level where you are stabilized, if you need those things, you can, like I said, start working your way up slowly. The mindset change, maybe the removal of vices, things that don't actually help you, but you do anyway, like smoking, or some people drink, things like that. Just things that you don't really need that you can kind of kick to the curb. That's a good start, because that'll get you physically up to the speed you want to be. Well, mentally, you're already taking the steps. But I don't know. I just genuinely hope, though, that everyone who's watching, who's subscribed, is doing really Just try day by day to do it. If you can't change the people around you, change yourself and try to make it so that you take those steps towards being in the place you want to be. If that means spending less time away from people who make you miserable, do that. If you live with them, I know it can be hard, but you still can do it. And I suppose that's all I have to say for today. I know that I said some things quite a bit, but I really do think it's important. Like, I want to make sure you keep those talking points, those things in mind, and just think about them. Don't ruminate, but think about them, give them some thought. Because I think that you can accomplish whatever you want. Even an astronaut, even though it's exceptionally hard, but maybe. Depends on how determined you are. So, with that, I want to wish you a good day, night, or anything in between. Again, thank you so much for watching these and enjoying them. I hope that the upcoming weeks, months, years, decades, and centuries are good for you.